Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gibbs in the Bank Recruiting Podcast, brought to you by BuckeyeScoop.com. I am Marc Givler, joined again by Kevin Noon today. It's our third day of All-American Bowl practice recaps, so we're doing our Thursday daily recap. We'll have some more stuff coming here the rest of the week, but this is kind of the last big day as far as practice goes. West practice in the morning, got to watch a lot of the Ohio State guys. Devin Brown, Caden Curry. I'm sure I'm going to go into some other guys as well, but let's start with those two. Devin, a lot of throwing against air, still pretty sharp today. Your thoughts on what you saw from the future Ohio State quarterback?
Yeah, I thought that Devin had a pretty strong day throwing the ball. He hooked up a couple times with Keon Grays, which looked good, but, really spreading it around. I think he bounced back well after having the couple of interceptions that he did on Wednesday. And even he'd put some space between those interceptions and today because he had a good PM session on Wednesday as well. I think he's just a little bit more relaxed. He's not pressing as hard at this point. So, he was strong out there throwing the ball. I had the opportunity to speak to him after practice. Very excited about all the opportunity coming forward. I had the opportunity to speak with his father as well. His dad is very excited about the opportunity. He's going to be enrolling here in January, so he's coming straight from San Antonio to Columbus. And he'll be part of that group. That'll be those early enrollees. We'll get the opportunity to work with Mickey Marotti and the rest of the staff. So, I think that it was a strong day overall for Devin.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a very challenging day. They didn't do a ton of 11-on-11 stuff, a lot of install and just final prep. But I think he did what he needed to do. Made some really nice throws. You mentioned there was one down the seam I think he made to Grays, which was really nice. It's been a good week for him so far. O-line, D-line did some brief one-on-ones. Caden Curry, again, very, very good. I think lost a rep to Ernest Green, who seems to be kind of the only guy who I think has gotten the best of Curry consistently this week. I think he's kind of split his reps against Ernest. Everyone else, it's been kind of a nightmare trying to stop Caden Curry. He had another few wins in one-on-ones, was lining up over guards. That was kind of laughable. It was just too quick for as an interior pass rusher. Some great inside moves there. Having a great week. Is he Mykel Williams in terms of his physical stature? No. Someone like Mykel Williams has probably been maybe the best guy here, but Caden Curry has been definitely one of the best guys here this week. So certainly validating what Ohio State thought of him as making him one of their top targets throughout the process. I kind of mentioned earlier I was kind of stammering around a little bit about Curry and Brown and how we'd get to some other guys. Well, let's get to the other guys now. Carson Hinzman, George Fitzpatrick, offensive lineman, Ohio State commits. Hinzman's been playing center this week. Fitzpatrick left guard. Even though Hinzman's probably a guard, Fitzpatrick probably a tackle at Ohio State. Today we saw some of that again, but we did see Hinzman at right guard. We did see Fitzpatrick a little bit at left tackle. So we'll see what happens on Saturday with them. I've been impressed with Fitzpatrick. Just a guy who moves really well, great frame. I think a lot of the physical tools are there. But, more so than that with them today was the Greg Studrawa news. And obviously that hit while they were on the practice field. It was a little bit unfortunate how they found out. We were eventually able to kind of talk to them after practice about it. Your takeaways, I guess, from what we saw today with Studrawa and just how that all played out in front of our eyes.
Yeah, we get over to the Alamodome. We'd heard some rumblings that something could be moving on it today. Weren't sure. We get ourselves seated in the section to where we're supposed to sit, and the news comes out. Shortly thereafter, I think you could tell that they'd been informed one way or the other, but they're not there with their phones. They're not there certainly not standing on the field with their families as this news comes in. The coach that they think that they're going to be playing for, they find out that Studrawa is out. So obviously that's kind of a big deal. Not an ideal situation, especially when you look at Carson Hinzman, who just verbally commits to Ohio State, and lo and behold, the same week the coach is out. But, we had the opportunity. You were able to speak with both of them afterwards, 2 very good interviews. And, I'll kind of kick it back to you since you were the one involved in there, and I just listened like everybody else to what they told you.
Yeah, I think, and kind of I post this on the site, is a little bit surprised, certainly. A little disappointed, obviously. They both kind of told me they committed to the school. Ryan Day is obviously still there as the head coach. There were so many things about Ohio State that they loved that had nothing to do with a position coach. But, again, I think it is a little eye-opening when this happens. And, again, I think they both kind of realize, if you can say, college football's a business all you want, but until you actually experience it, I think they finally experienced that today. Like, oh yeah, this is a business, and the coaches I commit to may or may not be there. Hinzman reaffirmed. I think that's the important one. Fitzpatrick is already signed. He was obviously, he's still coming to Columbus this week. He's still getting his head start. Nothing to worry about there. But Hinzman actually could open things back up if he so chose to do so. Says he's not going to. Doesn't plan on it. I don't know what bad juju he has going right now, because Wisconsin lost their offensive line coach. A little different circumstances, taking another job, but in the matter of roughly 10 to 14 days here, he's lost both of the main position coaches that were recruiting him. But he said he's a man of his word. He's sticking with Ohio State. And so it doesn't look like there's anything to worry about there. It is interesting, the timing, and I guess this is kind of what I'll throw out for discussion here. Neither of these guys got a heads up on this. Should they have?
And that's the $1 million question at this point, because I threw it out there saying it would have been worse to just to drag it through to late signing period until after that, and then the day after that goes down, drop the hammer on Carson and be like, well, all right, Stud's out. You're not benefiting anybody by carrying it on. There are going to be people who are saying, well, he probably should have been a little bit more forthcoming at this point, but I don't know. It's just kind of a business. I don't think that everybody involved woke up on Thursday and said, today's going to be the day we're going to do it. We're just, for whatever reason, we're fed up. This is just going to be when it's going to happen. I'm not naive enough to say that the handwriting wasn't on the wall, but I don't know. I don't know how you sit there and go through a recruitment process and say, oh, by the way, we're making a major change here at this point. I'll be very interested if I ever do hear kind of what happened in terms of the communications between the Hinzmans and Ohio State. At this point, I don't know if we really know exactly how everything went down in that instance, but it does seem to have a little bit of a raw feeling to it.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, obviously, how it comes out for these guys. But, they didn't stand Drayton, the kid. It wasn't like the day after signing day, which is, when that happens, I think it's very obvious what happened. You obviously withheld this until after a certain point. I don't think there was anything malicious about this situation. Otherwise, this could have been, this is kind of a nothing day to do it. If Ohio State's up to something here, I don't know what the strategy would have been to release that today. You could have waited until February 3rd or whatever, get that ink dry on Hinzman's letter and move on. So, these coaching searches are fluid, and I say this all the time. I said covering recruiting is crazy, but covering coach movements even crazier. Things change even faster than they do in recruiting. And, it's possible that Ryan Day's been, kicking some tires on some potential offensive line coach targets and got some good news in the last 24 hours on one of his top targets, and at that point decided to make the move. And at that, so I don't think they've been sitting on this. I think this has been kicked around, obviously, for several weeks, but I don't think Stud was released weeks ago and they just decided to wait till today. I think this was a developing situation, and again, it's unfortunate how it came out, But I don't think this is one of the more malicious ones I've seen. Certainly, this was not a Stan Drayton situation.
Well, I just wanted to add really quick into it, too, is that when you look at the situation, I don't know if we knew that Carson Hinzman was going to pop the day he did. We thought he might make it until the day of the game. So, yeah, or later. So you really don't know of a situation of where, okay, this was going to always be a Tuesday announcement, and we're going to wait until Thursday to do it. I mean, there are a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, that's a really good point that I missed there was, Hinzman was not going to announce. I think he decided on like Tuesday that he was going to announce on Tuesday. So I don't think Ohio State knew Hinzman was announcing this week. He wasn't supposed to announce this week when he got here. So that got moved up as well. So there's changing timetables here. Again, I think it's I think it's a kind of a insight into maybe the ugly part of college football. But again, on the scale of malicious, deceitful things I've seen in my 12 years doing this doesn't rank super high for me. So I think, like I said, I think there were a lot of moving parts here with Hinzman's decision date, as you mentioned, and then I think the whole Greg Studrawa situation was a fluid one. And there wasn't anything where this was known, and then they waited strategically for this very day to release it. I just think today was the day that the dominoes needed to fall, and they did. And it's unfortunate they were on a football field when it happened, but it is what it is. How do you want to wrap this up? I think we've kind of hit on the big news of the day. I guess we'll throw this last topic out there. Who do you think, if there's going to be a surprise performer this weekend, is there a guy down here for Ohio State? We've talked so much about Devin Brown and Caden Curry. Is there a guy down here for Ohio State that may surprise people on Saturday?
We saw some things during practice today, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. But keep an eye on Keon Grays. I think they have some plans for Keon Grays in this game. I think he could have a big game, have a lot of impact. You look at the four-headed receiver core out of this class, only two of them are able to participate, with Kojo Antwi on the one team, Keon Grays on the other. Kojo has always impressed me. I've always been very impressed there. But there were some things that I saw today from Keon. I'll make him my click to pick. Or pick to click. I think something is going to go down there with what he's going to be able to do on Saturday. I'll be very interested in seeing what his final stat line is.
Yeah, and the chemistry there with Devin Brown that he's been developing, I think, is going to be interesting to watch as well. I'm very intrigued by what I'm seeing out of George Fitzpatrick this week. We've seen a lot of good stuff in terms of finesse. We've seen him move very well. We've seen him do well in one-on-ones, which is still largely a finesse competition. They have not had a lot of hat-on-hat, blow guys off the ball type of opportunities in practice this week. So that will be something that we will see on Saturday when, the full pads will be on and it'll be full go. But I've been pleasantly surprised by him this week. I expected a very raw prospect, maybe not as physically developed as he is. He's looked pretty good to me. I think he'll be a guy who, obviously the stat sheets are going to go to the skill guys, but I think people are going to be impressed with George Fitzpatrick. He's the lowest ranked guy they have here on the offensive line, but I think he could be the guy who has the best day of the three on Saturday. So that's kind of my sleeper pick for a good performance on Saturday. I think that's going to about wrap this one up. We'll be back at it here at some point this weekend. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. There's a little bit of a joint practice in the afternoon. I'm not sure what that's going to bring. We're going to check out the underclassmen combine over at the Alamodome. That's an all-day thing, so we'll be over there at points getting a look at guys. So we may have a recap again tomorrow. We'll kind of just see how the day goes, and if not, obviously we'll have some more stuff rolling out Saturday. I know at least one of us will be on Morning Scoop coming up. So if you're not already listening to Morning Scoop on YouTube and on your podcast platforms, go ahead and do that as well. We'll have plenty of stuff there from our time in San Antonio. But appreciate everyone watching, listening. See you guys over on BuckeyeScoop.com.